Alright, what is going on? Let's get right back into this. I'm hoping that this will be the last video we actually need to do for the trophy cleanup. There's potential it bleeds into another video. There's also potential that I'll decide to read all the interviews. And realistically, I don't even know if I have all the interviews unlocked. But we might check out the interviews after we're done with everything else. We probably won't. Maybe I'll skim through them. I think I did. I think I uploaded my PS5 Director's Cut playthrough and kind of did the same thing where I just kind of skimmed over it so you guys could read it if you want. But anyway, we're
Scanning
reading the
bridges
memory
ID.
chips and then we're
Verifying
going to move on
ID.
to doing missions.
Clear. Weapons detected.
Alright. Fright Night. Some of these movies I've seen and some I haven't. Tom Holland wrote the directed. Okay, hold on. Tom Holland wrote and directed this 1985 horror comedy in which high schooler Charlie enlists the help of Peter, presenter of his favorite TV show Fright Night, in taking on the vampire menace next door. The idea of a TV host becoming a vampire hunter was already novel enough, but it was the vampires exploding when exposed to daylight that really stuck in viewers' memories and arguably led to the slew of sequels and remakes that followed. Huh. So wait, is Fright Night kind of where vampires originated? That'd be kind of cool. I mean, all these are kind of cool, like the Godzilla thing. Like that's the original Godzilla. I don't think I've. Oh, the walk, right? Yeah, Stand by Me and Big Fish. I don't feel like I. Big Fish, I might have seen. Stand by Me, I don't think I've seen. Christine, I've seen. I doubt I've seen. I've probably seen this Godzilla. I don't know. Anyway, Matango. Looks like something out of fucking Liza P. A 1963 horror movie by Ishiro Honda, directed by several entrees. Entrees? Directed by several entries. In the Godzilla's. I think that's what it is. Directed by several entries in the Godzilla series, in which a group of 7 castaways find themselves stranded on a deserted island with only one rule. Don't eat the mushrooms, but soon enough, mushrooms are the only food that's left, and the rest of the film follows the fate of those forced to sample the forbidden fruit. The mushrooms in this cult classic are the precursors of Death Stranding's cryptobiotes, or possibly even the coral found on in the seam. At least there are certain super fans who say so. That's honestly, I bet that's a good movie. I don't feel like I've seen that, but I feel like that's probably a good movie. All right, The Bridge on the River Kwai. Magnificent moving film, destined to become a classic. Bridge on the River Kwai. At the height of World War II, the Japanese army attempts to bridge the River Kwai in Thailand, an endeavor for which they enlist the forced labor of British prisoners of war. As the project develops, tensions emerge between those who want to see a good job done and those who wish to destroy the bridge. Tensions made all more complicated by the backdrop of war against which the story unfolds. The movie won several Academy Awards upon its release in 1957, including Best Picture. The screenplay was based on a novel by Pierre Boulle, who would later go on to become even better known for his sci-fi classic The Planet of the Apes. While perhaps less clear in the latter, it is often said that Buelle's uh, own experience of war provided the inspiration for both works. And Doctor Strangelove. I don't feel like I've seen this one, but maybe. I don't think I've seen the bridge on the fucking Kwai thing either. The full title of this 1964 Stanley Kubrick black comedy is Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. It was released at the height of the Cold War, with the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962 still a recent memory. Kubrick's next film was 1968's 2001 A Space Odyssey, which at the time was greeted with mixed reviews and failed to make much of a splash at the box office. It has long since redeemed itself, however, and now enjoys a reputation as an all-time classic. Kind of strange how that works. Glasscraft. Glass is famously fragile, a brittle substance which can break at even the slightest impact, but there are those who say that it is in fact a liquid. Observe a piece of ancient glass and you'll see that it has flowed downward, just as if it had melted. In other words, it is a mysterious material that behaves like a liquid, but can be also shattered in an instant. It is these characteristics that make it both an artist's dream and a porter's nightmare. Okay, and I feel like I'm pretty sure I read The Snow Crystal. A true natural work of art, though all are six-sided, no two are ever the same, a fact that has fascinated thoughtful observers throughout the years. It should be noted that the beauty of the snowflake has not changed since the advent of the timefall. The reported discovery of certain hand-shaped examples has been the subject of much discussion. Unfortunately, none have been preserved, making the existence of these five-fingered rarities more of a rumor than an established fact. From a porter's point of view, transporting a snowflake is out of the question. It would surely melt before it ever reached its destination. Fused silica. Glass is known for its fragility, but not all glass is easily broken. Some types are tough enough to survive for extended periods in outer space. During the development of the space shuttle, NASA went in search of a material that could withstand the intense pressures of re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. Temperatures that can reach as high as 1,000 to 1,600 degrees Celsius. They finally settled on fused silica, a glass whose heat conductivity is incredibly low, making it perfect for ultra-heat resistant parts. Its high stability and unmatched transparency also make it perfect for fiber optic telescope lenses, and it is even being researched as a possible ultra high capacity recording medium. All of which goes to show that even among so-called breakables, the occasional unbreakable item can also be found. That's actually pretty cool. That they're talking about using it for like memory cards or something like that. Soap bubble. Nothing is quite so fragile or ephemeral as a simple soap bubble. It floats through the air, dancing on the wind, all the colors of the rainbow reflected in its surface, and then just like that, pop, it's gone. Surely this is why a certain poet once likened the short-lived beauty of bubbles to human existence itself. Fortunately, there is no record of anyone ever having asked for a soap bubble to be delivered, and the porters of the world continued to pray that such a request never comes. That's funny. Frozen soap bubble. Oh, that's cool. Processes such as cryostasis and cryopreservation, which aim to prolong the life and slow decomposition through the lowering of temperature, can in some ways be seen as a form of time travel, though of course they do not compare to the chiralium-based processes which stop time altogether. Freezing the fragile beauty of a soap bubble causes it to crystallize without popping, naturally forming a perfect little work of art. But because it is merely frozen, time does not stop for the bubble altogether. One day it will thaw, and if not handled with the utmost care, it will be destroyed. Another tale fit to make a porter cry. That's actually a really cool picture. Wine glass. Wine is loved the world over, and with good reason. It is the oldest known form of alcohol, having been produced for at least 8,000 years. However, it is delicate and changeable. It is a delicate and changeable brew, and light, vibration, and temperature must all be carefully controlled during the manufacturing process. The reward for such care and attention are more than worth it. Of course, a fine vintage is like nothing else in the world. Those in the know believe that to truly enjoy such a wine, the thinnest, lightest possible glass is best. But to deliver such glass is a challenge that in itself requires care and fine control. A true test of the porter's art. Incidentally, research is currently underway into how the beach might be used as a means of preserving fine wines. You know, what is it with, let's say, a fine wine is like nothing else. Those believe such joy. A fine vintage is like nothing else in the world. Those in the know believe that to truly enjoy a wine, the thinnest, lightest possible glass is best. Why? Why is... I think I kind of get it. It's like, because you just kind of get like that little sip, and I don't know. It's more satisfying. I feel like with the thin glass. I honestly, I don't really drink anymore, but if I was to drink, I feel like I would love like a nice, just a really small, basically just a taste, um, maybe like 2 ounces or something like that of some nice dark like grape wine. I feel like it would be so good. Pottery. Pottery is made up. Pottery is made by digging clay from the ground and hardening it at high temperature. But while the resulting material may be hard, it is also fragile and will break at the slightest drop or knock. Charles Darwin was the grandson of the founder of England's greatest pottery dynasty, the Wedgwoods. And it was his uncle Josiah Wedgwood II, or the second, who insisted that his nephew join the HMS Beagle on its legendary voyage in order to further his scientific investigations. Had that not happened, the theory of evolution may never have come into being. History is full of such fragile connections, a thought worth bearing in mind when carrying out the delicate task of delivering pottery. It's funny because usually, says Uncle Josiah, who insisted that his nephew join the HMS Beagle voyage in order to further his scientific investigation. So, usually a family, I don't know, like, I feel like my uncle kind of got me into construction. I work construction, as like my main job right now. And I feel like, generally speaking, I feel like maybe more so in the parental side of things, like when you try to get your kid to kind of take over the business. There's a lot of times that your kid is not going to want to take over the no fucking business that you have. They're going to want to do their own thing. Sometimes you kind of get put into situations where it turns out that you just kind of get, like with the construction thing, like I don't necessarily there's definitely parts of the construction field that I don't care for. But I think that kind of goes with anything in life. Like, there's going to be certain things that you do that even if you enjoy doing it, there's going to be aspects of it that you do not enjoy. But in the end, you know, and I feel like I've definitely grown into construction more as I'm getting kind of more, like I'm getting better at it. Um, it's not as tedious. It's something that like I don't want to do for the rest of my life necessarily, but at the same time, things are going really well at work, and I'm pretty satisfied with what it is. If I was doing fucking like insulation all day or something like that for the rest of my life, I have a very different feeling. I feel like, but anyway, we finished reading this one, right? Had that not happened, the theory of evolution may not have, and that's a weird one for me. If he had not helped his uncle further his scientific investigations on what? On pottery, then the theory of evolution may have never happened. Like what? Like that just sounds wild. Anyway, moving on. Honda NSR 250R. mass a mass-produced motorcycle based on the Honda NSR 250, a racing bike which won 4 straight manufacturers championships from 1985 onward and found success in motorsport events both inside and outside Japan. Japanese manufacturers began moving away from two-stroke engines in the late 1990s due to the induction of emissions regulations, which meant that production of the NSR 250R ceased in 1999. In the world of Death Stranding, all motors are electric. Yeah, well, they could have done better on like the traction and shit like that. I'm still a little frustrated with going sideways down a hill when you don't want to, and the damn vehicle kind of just maintaining speed when you're trying to brake. Anyway, Triumph Street Triple RS. Lauded as Triumph's most powerful, dynamic, and downright exhilarating series of road bikes to date, the Street Triples are a force to be reckoned with. None more so than the top-of-the-range RS model. Those lucky enough to have ridden one speak of an adrenaline-soaked experience like no other. Perfect for porters who want to feel the wind of the wasteland in their hair. I like how these are kind of categorized, like the top rows, kind of the Ludens models, the second rows, like movies, the third rows, kind of like fragile stuff. And I think this kind of goes as like categories for, like the fragile row is for fragile. The Luden stuff I think is for um, Dead Man. The movies I think is for Hartman. I think the bikes is probably just for Sam. And then I'm guessing. Oh, it looks like there's more movies on the bottom and music. I don't know. Maybe the fifth row is for like Lochner. Anyway, Kawasaki Ninja H2R. While ninjas may have been operatives whose chief purpose was to go unnoticed, the Kawasaki Ninja was designed to do anything but. It quickly became the symbolic superhero of Japanese motorcycles, and fans all over the world knew it for its superlative use of the technology of the time. True to its name, the Ninja was a free agent that thought outside the box, and its supercharged engine meant it was blessed with skills and techniques unavailable to mere mortals. It's a bike loved by porters who also like to think outside the box, enabling them to mix up their order sheet with collection missions and lost cargo collections in addition to standard deliveries. Harley Davidson Pan America $12.50. For years, quintessentially American motorcycle manufacturer Harley-Davidson has provided a product for those finding their freedom in an open road. Harley-Davidson expands to provide this same experience off-road. This adventure touring motorcycle will make you king of the streets and the trails. Nice and simple and straightforward. Alright, Death Stranding Low Roar. So this is all music. 12-inch of the soundtrack to the legendary video game Death Stranding, featuring tracks such as I'll Keep Coming and Easy Way Out. Listening to it is sure to send soul-soothing oxytocin surging around your system, and by the time it's finished, you'll be holding hands with anyone who happens to be beside you. Game director Hideo Kojima discovered the music of Low Roar by chance while browsing in a record store in Iceland. He went on to use I'll Keep Coming in the first trailer for the game, a perfect example of the strands of fate doing their work. You know, I actually really enjoy a lot of the music in this game. I actually tried decently enough not to put a whole lot of music into these videos. Like, if the music started, there's a lot of times when I was doing the PS5 version, like my first playthrough, whatever, I would sit and listen to the fucking song because I'm like, oh, this is sweet. I would turn the music on when I'm chilling in the fucking private room, and I just had fun with it. And there's a certain thing about, like, oh my god, you're going to get in trouble for having music in your videos on YouTube, whatever. In this one, I definitely tried a little bit more not to listen to as much of the music as in the PS5 version. I do plan on doing Death Stranding 2 after this. And I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of it. If my fucking videos go up for fucking copyright and I'm not able to monetize them, I can't monetize videos anyway. So I don't fucking care. I'm going to have fun with it. And that's kind of the main issue with me and streaming in general, is that I want to enjoy the music in a game. And I feel like you should be able to do that while streaming or uploading videos without that being an issue. And I'm surprised because when it comes to uploading videos to YouTube, if you're streaming, I feel like it should just kind of be free range. If there's music in the game you're fucking streaming, let it be so. You shouldn't get in trouble for it, I don't feel like. If you uploaded a song, if you uploaded a video and there's music in it, there's kind of like this way, you'll get flagged. It'll say, hey, there's copyrighted music in your video, and like sometimes it'll kind of like keep people from watching it. And so it's like you can change it. It's like, oh, well, you can mute the section with the music in it, or you can try to mute the audio or like the music itself and then leave kind of your voice in it. And it seems like they've had that for like 10 fucking years, and they still haven't gotten it to the point where it will cut the music out but not your actual voice. And that drives me fucking nuts. I mean, I feel like it shouldn't be that hard to get that going. For sure, the game, perfect example, Fate doing its work. So yeah, we read this one. Anyway, it's just something that I hope that they get figured out, because I'm sure that you can edit your videos and kind of like mute the music and keep your vocals in. At the same time, even if that happens, like an automatic thing that YouTube will do for you for your videos, if there's copyrighted music or whatever, whatever, upon request. You could be sitting there jamming out. You're like, man, this music is great, and everybody will be sitting there hearing nothing. They're like, what's this guy talking about? I already hear that enough. Whether you listen to like Twitch streamers and shit, I think they got it somehow where the people listening to their streams, or the people watching their streams, are listening to music that they're playing through like Spotify or something, but when they upload it to YouTube, it's not there, and I haven't quite figured that part out. Anyway, moving on. Lucio Fulci's horror and thriller compilation. A compilation album of tracks used in the movies of Italian splatter horror master Lucio Fulci, including songs from such classics as A Lizard in a Woman's Skin, The New York Ripper, Manhattan Baby, and The Beyond. Sadly, absent is anything from 1979 zombie classic Zombie 2, whose zombie designs, groundbreaking performances, and unforgettable music were a huge influence on later directors. If you ever get the chance, that's another soundtrack well worth a listen. Profondo Rosso original motion picture soundtrack. Soundtrack to the genius Dario Argento's Deep Red, which spawned the genre that came to be known as giallo. I could be butchering some of these pronunciations, and I apologize for that. In his home country of Italy upon its release in 1975. Though billed as a suspense movie, it's a masterpiece more terrifying than many horror movies of the era, with music provided by progressive rock group Goblin, who also soundtracked 1977's Suspiria. Suspiria was actually released before Deep Red in Japan and was a huge hit, leading to the latter being released there as Suspiria 2, despite the two movies bearing no relation to one another. Thelma original motion picture soundtrack. Soundtrack to the 2017 Norwegian horror movie Thelma. It was directed by Joachim Trier, a distant relative of the Danish genius Lars von Trier. The soundtrack has a distinctively Scandinavian feel. Its melody is dark yet hauntingly beautiful. Thelma, the titular character, that's a word I don't know, is a young woman raised by a strict family. When she falls in love for the first time, a power that had laid dormant within her is unleashed. It's a film that captures the heart, being filled with the beauty, the sadness, and the fear that comes with loving someone, with trying to connect to someone. Thelma is all about what it means to connect and what it means to sever connections. Oh, I was gonna... Titular. Titular. Holding or constituting a purely formal position or title without any real authority. Okay, that's what that means. Dawn Silent Poems. The first original album in 12 years from silent poets whose song Asylums for the Feeling was used in the 2018 E3 trailer for Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima himself said that upon hearing their album Dawn for the first time, the image of Sam striding through the wilds came immediately to mind, and he subsequently contacted Silent Poets personally to ask them to be part of the project. Upon the trailer's release, the public response was equally enthusiastic, and Silent Poets hit the charts worldwide. Incidentally, the band is the solo project of musician Bicharu Shimoda, who also ran a catering company which looked after the Death Stranding team more than once during development, another strand of fate at work. Okay, God of War video game soundtrack. Original video game soundtrack. God of War was a 2005 action game that made use of the imagery and themes of ancient Greece. Many titles were subsequently released in the series, with the most recent 2018's God of War proving to be a true return to form. Featuring an all-new story and settings which range from Greece to Scandinavia, listening to the soundtrack is sure to provide a wind beneath the wings of your imagination, carrying you away to the world of the gods for another epic adventure. Bronson soundtrack. I would like to play the new God of War. Um, I mean, it's what was they said 2018. It feels like it's still the new God of War. They're probably working on like the third, because they had that one, they had Ragnarok, and I imagine that they're working on another one right now. And I want to. There's just so many games I want to play, and I don't have fucking time. It drives me nuts. Anyway, Bronson soundtrack. Tom Hardy starred in this 2008 movie by Nicholas Winding Refn. 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 I don't know how to say that. Refn. Anyway, based on the ultra-violent life story of a fighter who went by the name of Bronson, Winding Ref went Winding Refn brought his unique brand of brutal action to a production brimming with vitality and intensity. After Bronson, he went on to direct Valhalla Rising, and eventually the critically acclaimed Drive. Hideo Kojima contacted Winding Refn personally, and the two finally met by coincidence in London, becoming firm friends from their very first moment together. Mr. Winding Refn recalls the encounter to this day as having been like meeting an old friend. So that was a movie thing, right? Valhalla Rising, original soundtrack by Peter and Peter Kyed. Oh, I guess that wasn't. That was still a soundtrack thing. I guess these are all soundtrack things? At least this one is. I think. That's a soundtrack. Okay. Well, it said they had like God of War was a soundtrack to a game. I think this is a soundtrack to a movie. Possibly. Yeah. Yeah. Original music from the movie Valhalla Rising, starring Mads Mikkelsen and directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. The film tells the tale of One Eye, a legendary warrior of the Viking Age, played by Mikkelsen, having lost his voice and one of his eyes. He radiates the almost superhuman magic of a hero straight out of the sagas of ancient Scandinavia. The movie is more than worth a watch, and the soundtrack is worth a listen to, having been composed by longtime Winding Refn collaborators Peter and Peter Kyed. Nicholas Winding Refn, The Wicked Die Young. A gem of an album containing songs that inspired Nicholas Winding Refn during the shooting of the Neon Demon. Giorgio Moroder, Electric Youth, and Cliff Martinez, composer of the music for Drive, all feature showcasing the depths of breadth of Winding Refn's influences, as does the daring sleeve design. Anyone who's seen any of these films is sure to be swept up in the vision on display here. My Life, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. Only God Forgives strongly divided opinion when it debuted at Cannes. Its predecessor, Drive, had been a Hollywood smash, and director Nicholas Winding Refn was free to set his next movie where he chose. He chose Thailand, various on-set issues, the pressure of following on the heels of Drive's success, the Winding Refn's troubles with his status as a director were all captured in his wife Liv Corfixon's documentary of the making of the movie, soundtracked by drives Cliff Martinez. And then these are just the secret confessions of a certain someone, access interviews, menu to learn more. Same thing with... Why don't we just get part 2 and part 3? Where's part 1? Oh. I just realized I must have fucking missed one. Fuck. Oh, wait. So it was number 54? Number 54 is what we're missing. This is a little frustrating. Hopefully it's in the central region. I think I got confused because these ones don't really show up. I'm going to be a little upset if this isn't in the central region, honestly. Yeah, I thought I had 54, but these are ones that don't actually show up, so I think that's where I got confused. So excuse me for a minute while I get this figured out. I'm assuming it's this region that I'm missing it in, at least. And I'll know that it's Unknown Man's Journal 1. That would explain why we have 55, but it's showing 56. I was thinking it was just a director's cut thing. My question is, where is it? Hopefully it's not in too bad of a spot to get to. And hopefully it's something I can get. Because if I gotta fucking do a bunch more deliveries to get a fucking message that I was supposed to get before it shows up, that'll drive me nuts. Okay. I think I know where it is.
All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges. Stand clear. Vehicle ready. Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey. Keep on keeping on. Have a pleasant journey. Weapons restrictions lifted.
Wait, what? I don't know if I accidentally fast forwarded the fucking video, but I didn't see him get it. Looking it up though, I think that it's over here. Are you fucking kidding me?
Show yourself.
I didn't mean to fucking throw that. I thought this was like right here. Oh my god, you're gonna start slipping on everything? It's gotta be just around the corner here. Am I fucking blind? I swear. It says right here. That's like way behind me. Okay, it's behind me again. Was it before I came in here? I swear, it must have been before I came in here. This would make sense as to why I can't fucking find it right now. Yep, right fucking here. My goodness. I was wondering, I was like, what the fuck? I bet we get the trophy as soon as we turn it in. I mean, there's not really anything to read. It's just interview data. And it's not going to make us read the interview data to get the trophy, I know that. I'll try to get back to the Lake Knot. Get back to Lake Knot. Turn in the memory chip. It should pop the trophy. And then we'll fucking recycle what we used and get some new stuff. A little frustrating, but hey. Shit happens. At least we didn't have to travel to a different area.
Okay.
That would have pissed me off a lot more. There it is. Fountain
This up
knowledge.
for me? You shouldn't have. Really.
Alright, following data can now be viewed via your cufflinks. An Unknown Man's Journal Part 1. New interview data acquired, Journal 1 through 4.
Thank you for your contribution.
So 3 grenades and 1 blood pack.
Thank you.
There it is. A little frustrating. But it's done. It is done. And, yeah. Okay, so the next video is basically just going to be doing the higher difficulty deliveries. That's going to be it for this video, though. I didn't expect the whole video to be reading and getting that last memory chip, but hey, it is what it is. In any case, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace out.